we're back, keeping our bi-weekly cadence going strong on All Talk No Chill. I think that's what we've settled on. But in the past 2 weeks, we've been out in the field. We did a field trip and
yes,
to do some market research.
Yes.
Where did we go?
To the mall.
And this mall is very representative of what the average mall in America looks like. This is no high-end mall. This is just your...
I grew up going to this mall. It's definitely changed as far as the stores that are there. The most high-end shop location is Michael Kors. So that's what we're working with.
Vera Bradley is also in the center point of the mall. So I'm sure at Vera Bradley's height... It is? Yeah, it's one of the...
it has its own store now. Mm-hmm.
I have noticed in the past 2 years, they've had a special edition Christmas collection inspired by Star Wars. With Chewbacca at the forefront. And I have a feeling the sell-through didn't go too well the first year, causing them to have to do it for a second year in a row.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I hold Vera Bradley near and dear to my heart as a millennial. The tote bag was what you carried around in high school. And then into college even, it was still like the lanyard card case.
Mm-hmm. We had the lunch boxes.
Oh, I also had the lunchbox, yes.
You couldn't get the same pattern as someone at the table because like that was their personality. That was their side.
Patterns, the Vera Bradley pattern said a lot about who you were as a person.
True. And I remember there was only one pattern left at the store and I didn't even like it that much. It was like a neon pink one mixed with purple. And I went for it because I was so desperate to fit in.
Yeah.
And that does say a lot about me.
You were willing to take whatever was left.
I was scraping at the bottom of the barrel. And that said everything you needed to know about me. It didn't come naturally following the trends.
So we went to the mall for some market research, mostly because I just needed to go and get some new makeup from Sephora. But we took a little detour into Urban Outfitters, which I haven't stepped foot into one in a very long time. So it was really eye-opening as to what the trends currently are. Specifically, I would say for Gen Z, because Urban Outfitters is geared towards those.
For sure. Like my
20-something
group,
early
I would
20-something.
say 18 to 25 is their target demo. But I think in high school, middle school, you still have... I think Urban Outfitters is the perfect place to find the most diluted trends all mashed together into one. So, for example,
we saw a lot.
We saw things.
We didn't even go through the whole store. We stayed in the front third of the store.
We saw things that I'm still trying to make sense of, really. And as people who are once in the retail space, visual merchandising is really an excellent way to gauge how they want the buyer to visualize their outfit. That's wardrobe
the whole point
be.
of visual merchandising is the way you merch a store, what's on a rack. Ideally, you can take something from that rack, one piece, a top, a bottom, a third accessory, and make a full outfit.
Full outfitting
and
experience.
If that was what their intention was at Urban Outfitters, I was very concerning.
So we have some coquette laced corsets
with the track pants.
With the track pants.
Yes.
All right. I like those two separate together.
And then we're pairing some like fake soccer jerseys, which are really, coming from a family of like avid Premier League soccer fans, to see those was very much a dagger to the heart.
Yeah.
I can't remember what they were paired with though.
With skirts, which I actually...
Skirts, of course, the pleated skirt. A pleated skirt. A short pleated skirt.
Academia.
Yes.
I do actually, again...
Good job, you nailed that.
I know, I nailed it. I've been practicing. I'm like here for unexpected mix and matching. I'm here for that. But knowing that the intention was selecting the hot trends and mashing them together, fast fashion at its worst. And
this is popular. Put it together.
I would love to, rock something a little sporty with a skirt. I like that concept.
Yeah.
Oh, don't forget though about the silver Y2K belt.
Looped belt. Yes.
Yeah. Just a cherry on top.
There were a lot of bows.
Yeah.
A lot of bows.
You know that saying that's like, before you go out, look in the mirror and take one accessory off?
They did the opposite.
Urban Outfitters.
Let's add one more.
Yes.
Because then on my way out, we also saw the bandana is back, which that was shocking for me to see, because I remember rocking a bandana when I was well into elementary school. I see you as a pink gingham bandana was one of my favorite ones to wear. So to see that is also back, the one that we saw was like a lace bandana.
Yeah, I'm here for a bandana. I think the fun accessories can work. I think the pom-poms on the mini pom-poms that was too much for me. I think that's personally.
That was a trend that I could stay back in Y2K. We don't need to bring it all back.
We don't.
Some things are meant to stay.
It was
where they were. They had their time.
You saw Real Housewives of New York City back when Bethany Frankel, I think, came back, and she walked in and she's like, where the did we all come from? Like, everyone looked like they went through a tunnel of acid and came out, and that's what Urban Outfitters the experience.
I mean, you are also right now rocking a very millennial headband, which I am surprised that they're back, because those are a form of torture to put on and to take off.
I know.
I remember back in my day, like second and third grade, of getting those things on. It can be like a poking hazard.
I know. My niece was like,
if you're not careful enough.
Take it on and off.
When it pokes you in the neck, there's no worse pain.
No, my niece was
shocked
insisting.
That's back.
I'm like, no, there has to be an age warning on this, but this bad boy is staying put.
I mean,
it's not moving
in there.
So, I mean, my battle scars were worth it.
Yeah,
and I'm here for it, because we know my hair can be a little unruly. So I needed something. So of course I'm here for little bits and pieces of the Y2K references, but all at once I felt fatigued.
I never thought about this, how it's so easy for Gen Z to kind of adopt millennial trends that like I remember wearing, like non-ironically, it was of the times.
Yeah.
I could never wear that headband again, just because it's linked
wore it
to such a time in my life. But I'm trying to think if there's other things that I have worn that I would adopt again. Oh, actually, I thought of this the other day. They're saying that like the cool new shoe for the spring and summer is going to be the checkered Vans slip-on.
Morgan Stewart wore them.
And in my head, I was like, love those, because I actually wore them in middle school.
Yeah.
So things like that where I have worn them already, and then people are saying they're like trendy now. I feel like I've justified it in my head of I can wear those checkered Vans again because I wore them when they were originally cool. So me wearing them now, I'm not hopping on the trends. I'm just resurrecting my old trends that I did wear and like as a younger child.
Yeah.
And just bringing them back.
I think that makes sense. Maybe it's that you wore this in elementary school, whereas you wore those in middle school, high school, like post-puberty, so you can relate to that person a little more. I don't think I'll be getting on the checkered Vans just because they're not, I don't know how to explain. They're not me per se, but I like the idea. And I loved the Vans sneakers.
Oh, like the black with the white stripe on the side? The like classic skater sneaker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a skater chick. I waveboarded. I rocked that waveboard.
So I'm curious like what Gen Z trends are happening right now when you like 10, 20 years from now look back.
I know, but everything we do is just a copy.
True. So nothing is original.
Nothing is original. Baggy cargos. When cargos make its way around, I'm gonna have those for my daughter.
Yeah, I never remember cargos.
We own that. No, we really don't. Yeah, and then we went to Sephora, which
the Sephora kid,
the tiny boppers.
Yes,
the teeny boppers.
Teeny boppers.
Teeny boppers.
Which I think because of TikTok mostly, it's become the place for tweens to go.
Yeah. It's one of the scariest things about the time we live in is going on TikTok and seeing 8-year-old with 8-year-old
doing
skin.
A full beat.
So many actives.
Full skincare, so many actives. That's something that actually is not dangerous. Great, because I've been seeing all these estheticians' takes on how dangerous it is for these young girls who don't need to be adding, like you said, all these actives. They don't need retinol. They don't have wrinkles. They don't need collagen. They have fresh collagen. They've got a surplus of it. You don't need to be adding more to your face.
No.
So I want to see what all these little tweeny boppers look like 20 years from now, because it's probably going to have like a reverse effect on them.
No, it's like it's going to be the tanning beds of their generation that they started skincare and ruined their skin barrier.
Yes.
No, it's crazy. It's like drunk elephants. They just want it because the color.
They've got some serious actives in their stuff.
I know.
They've got, someone
needs to teach them about skin cycling.
No, at least
to like space it out. They need to cut it all together. But Millie Bobby Brown has a great line that I think would be appropriate for a 12-year-old.
You need like a moisturizer and a face wash as 12 years old. Sunscreen. Yeah. Sunscreen. Like I don't know if any of them wear sunscreen. Actually, well, you know they're putting all these crazy actives on their face, but are they adding sunscreen into? That's the main thing the one thing that you probably should start younger.
And Supergoop originally was created to target kids, like adults for their kids in elementary school. That's why it's so light and bright. Mm-hmm. And then that trickled their way up, and the teeny boppers are left with Drunk Elephant. It's a crime.
It is. They're not going to age well.
They're not going to age well.
I can tell you that. I look back at like college aged kids and see what they look like and cannot relate. Even in college, like we weren't doing like full faces of makeup to go out. It's just like so different nowadays. And I think it is because of more social media. Like in college, Instagram was just starting. There wasn't like all of these things. So I don't ever remember putting a full face of makeup on to go out to the bars when I was in college.
Wait, that's interesting.
Maybe popping on some mascara. Maybe. I don't remember what foundation I wore. I don't think I wore foundation.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was still a thing. I was like 2016 where it was the Kylie, like King Kylie, like matte lips.
Yeah, so this was before all that.
Yeah. Like, no, I'm familiar with the times from stalking my sister's Facebook page when she was in college.
It was very minimalist, I would say.
Minimalist, yeah.
For better or for worse.
It was about the top. It was about the going out.
The going out top was peak.
Key and statement necklace, maybe.
Yes, maybe here and there. I had a statement necklace or two, but the going out top. That was
key. Everything else could fade away.
Yes.
Honestly, St. Patrick's Day, I'm exhausted from St. Patrick's Day because I've realized how distant I am from like the going out scene.
I feel like the going out trends right now for like college girls is very much more, it's like the baggy jeans, everyone's wearing the white Air Force Ones and like a crop top.
Oh my God, yeah. Like I thought I was going to be...
when I was in college, it was like the tight bandage skirts with like a see-through lacy top and you wear like a bandeau underneath and like a contrasting color, the statement necklace and very high heels.
Oh, the stilettos.
Yeah.
Pairing those skinny jeans
we put in the work.
Yeah.
But now it's very much the opposite end where they're doing like full makeup and then very casual.
Baggy. Yeah, that's true. Maybe that's our next field trip. Just an night out on the town.
Undercover.
Yeah. I'll get my cargos out.
All right. So we've got some updates, some movement in the royal world with our Kate Middleton.
Lots
has transpired since my last rabbit hole of the week.
Lots
like
has.
2 weeks ago.
I can't take credit for this, but this encapsulated my feelings about it. The high we've been searching for since the submersible is here. Except both are tragic, so I feel horrible saying that. And I want to preface this whole thing with, now that it's getting a little darker with Kate Middleton and all of the speculation about her medical situation, one, I do think that's what the royals sign up for, and two, it's the balance of having the respect while also speculating and criticizing the way the royals handle PR situations and the toxicity that they're hiding. And that, I think, does need to come to light. Mm-hmm. So
they're spiraling.
Yeah, they're spiraling.
Royals are crumbling and we're watching it all happen.
Yes.
And I don't think they've never had a good reputation, but I don't think this is really helping anybody's case, and it's only hurting them even more. And the damage control is almost like not, how do you come back from this?
The Associated Press kill notification rocked me to my core. The number of publicists that were coming out and saying, I have never seen this in 30 years of being a publicist, of a kill notification on a photo.
On a photo, specifically.
On a photo, because that has
kill notices happen all the time, but it's mostly based off of the accuracy of the information in whatever is going out. It's never for a doctored photo.
No. And for them to go against the royals means they truly couldn't stand by it. And then we got a little tweet from the Princess of Wales, C, who we're not on a C basis with the Princess of Wales. So
this is what makes me really mad, is that the royals they're placing blame because they don't want it to be like, it's not their fault. They're putting the blame on somebody else, Kate Middleton, because she's already the center of all of this, but nobody's gonna be mad at Kate Middleton because everybody's already in her corner and want to know what's wrong with her. So therefore they're throwing her under the bus to be like, see, look what she did.
Yeah.
When we know it's not her. She didn't Photoshop this picture. She didn't put that tweet out there. Do we actually think Kate is at home on her iPad? Like, let me apologize.
No, she is not. It's insulting to our intelligence.
Yes.
And that's the whole thing, is that they keep, maybe it started as an routine abdominal surgery. But the thing is, so many doctors have come out and said this, recovery period doesn't make sense. It's insulting to our intelligence. And it's also, why hide? Why are you hiding something? So it's not what they're hiding. It's why they're hiding it is the issue. And
it's why they need to be why do you need to be so vague?
Yeah.
When they are super detailed about everything else when they need to be. This is the instance where you see it going off the rails because of your vagueness.
Yeah.
Which I understand, like, she needs to have her privacy respected, but when you see all this speculation, wouldn't you want to rein it back in and get the control back?
Yeah. So I think this is the time to give our little announcement, though, about Dumois, you have found your partner in crime. It's me.
Yeah, you're like really ramping it up.
Well, we gotta ramp it up. We have an insider source who works in the social media world and was specifically working with celebrity accounts in London. And essentially what they're saying is Kate has UC, which is ulcerative colitis, and had what could have been a routine surgery to get an ostomy bag, or maybe she had one prior. And since then, there have been complications, allegedly. The speculation is that the complications have arose from pre-existing eating disorder that, according to my sister, who's a doctor, because I asked her opinion on it, it's possible for there to be complications if certain eating disorder behaviors are still occurring. Because otherwise it is a very safe surgery. And I have heard rumblings that her mental health is involved in this situation. So that would all track that, this routine surgery or this surgery does tie into her mental health. It's suffering. And just how eerie it is compared to Diana and her history of an eating disorder. Eating disorders are, as someone who has a history of one, it is a disease that thrives in secrecy, which just is so representative of the royal culture. And that's why they're going, to such lengths to cover it. Because those don't just bloom and thrive for years on end in a healthy environment all the time. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
I had another theory that I was really like, this is it. This is the one. And then this all came out, which is much more believable. Yeah. And I think the public is just going to be very let down. I mean, at the end of the day, they really weren't lying. They said she went in for a routine abdominal surgery, and that's probably exactly what happened. And it's probably just some complications.
I think my problem with it is if this is the case and they fail to address it, or they fail to take accountability internally, which of course we won't know, that's just angers me, because to have what happened to Diana and then Meghan Markle leaving, and now Kate Middleton, who we've seen as just like a steadfast person in the royal family. My inner feminist is coming out. We need to prioritize these women's mental health, and these men are cheating left and right. And
I liked the theory that Kate chose to remove herself and was kind of refusing to go into the public eye at all because of the speculated affair that William was having with Rose Hanbury. And then there was speculation that she was pregnant with his child and all of this stuff.
I mean, I was really excited about the theory that Charles is about, not that I'm excited that he's about to die, but I'm excited.
He is.
He's about to die. And then William got involved in some no behaviors that would make him not eligible for the throne.
But what would not make him eligible for the throne?
And then we'd have a tween king. I was excited for that. But
Prince George, the king we all need.
Yeah. George, step up.
Maybe that's the way we need to go next. No more old men. We need someone fresh. Let's get Prince
Gen
George.
Zers. Let's go. They, Gen X? I don't know.
He might be able to reshape the entire royal image.
Yeah.
That could be what they need.
No, that is what they need.
Yeah. So let's hop over William.
Yeah.
He's slimy and gross.
He's so slimy.
Let's get Prince George in there.
Yeah.
King George.
King George.
Yeah. I'm all for it.
2024.
Perfect. So we have to talk about, I would like to call them the problem children of Bravo right now. Specifically, Scheana from Vanderpump and Lindsay from Summer House.
Yes.
I'm sick of them both.
Come on, ladies. Same old issues coming to the forefront. What they've both been since season 1. Summer House, I cannot believe I went into this season thinking I'm going to give
you were
Lindsay
saying you wanted to be
the benefit of the doubt. Just because we don't know. Oh my
We know now.
God. We know. We know. And poor Carl, this poor guy, he wanted to make a sober bar. And she said no.
Since when is Miss Lindsay the peak entrepreneurial businesswoman
On
giving advice?
Branding your personal image. You are literally known to be an angry woman, like an angry person.
Let Carl have his sober bar.
Hear him out at least. Hear him out.
But look who's laughing now, because Carl now has his non-alcoholic lover boy. So he did it, and I'm proud of him.
Yes. And I love that. And the new information sorry, go.
No, I was just gonna say, I'm happy to finally see in this episode Carl is standing up for himself and finally putting his foot down, because at the beginning of the season he was kind of apologizing to her and making excuses of why she was acting this way. And now that she's finally accused him thrice of being on drugs, he's finally this is not acceptable. You can't keep doing this. And he's finally standing up for himself. And I'm like, thank God, Carl.
Yeah.
You have a backbone still. Use it, because otherwise she's going to keep walking all over you.
100%. And I think the new information we found out is that she's trying to claim she just finds it hypocritical that he's questioning her about the drinking when he smokes marijuana, which the implications of
it's totally different. It's not the same.
The implications of throwing the word drug without specifying to someone who is sober and clean otherwise on reality TV, even if you did want to throw that argument out there in the heat of the moment, Lindsay, have enough respect for your fiance's public image not to throw that out there on reality TV. Even if you're that shitty of a human being that you're going to throw it out there, at least wait till the cameras are off. I'm all for authenticity.
Meanwhile, we see on camera that she is drinking, and since she wakes up, we see the proof that you are drinking, you are drunk.
It's different.
And she's like, well, therefore, I got to question Carl. It's not the same. It's not the same.
And the scene with Gabby, where Gabby, it does have a very level head. And she's like, you need to take responsibility for what you said. And it's your responsibility. I'm not saying you're wrong, which that was her way to try and communicate with Lindsay. But it's your responsibility to know how to communicate with your partner. And she walks out. She cannot have the conversation where anyone is remotely hinting that she needs to just take accountability.
I can't imagine not being able to take a step back from myself. And see these trends that are happening every weekend. Oh my gosh, we keep getting in these fights. Why do we keep getting in these fights? We keep getting in these fights when I drink and I'm drunk. So maybe, crazy idea, this one weekend, I just don't drink. Let's see how it goes then. And I guarantee you they probably won't fight because she's not drunk all the time. And Carl has said that is also the common denominator. She acts like this when she's drinking. And that's when she lashes out.
None of it is okay.
And she doesn't have the mental, emotional capacity to look at herself and be like, maybe I am the problem. When she clearly is.
She clearly is. But when Lindsay says, now you're angry, you realize that you're not giving a good point. Carl has a right to be angry, and he's actually allowed to, he's not yelling at you in a dangerous way. He is allowed to raise his voice. She's searching for something to blame on Carl and trying to be you get angry too.
See,
not even a good argument.
It's Lindsay trying to just reroute any type of blame to anybody but her. She called Carl Jekyll and Hyde in the most recent episode.
Smoke and mirrors.
That is the pot calling the kettle black. I'm sure we can go back and find multiple scenes from the past 8 seasons of Lindsay being perfectly fine, and then she snaps and is going off on somebody. So we're not calling him Jekyll and Hyde.
Jekyll and Hyde and smoke and mirrors of which
I think Carl's been very upfront about. I don't get the sense that he's hiding an alternative personality somewhere.
Just because he's more self-controlled than you and probably doesn't have his worst moments on television doesn't make him smoke and mirrors. And also, how happy was Paige probably watching that? And everyone who last reunion were like, you guys are messed up. You guys are fake. Lindsay, you just admitted it. Like, she's not realizing, and she does this with every one of her boyfriends, by you just ripping them apart, you're making yourself look bad, both of your whole relationship looking bad. Like, she's constantly in a fight and not a team. She doesn't know how to be a team unit.
No. It's exhausting to watch. She's exhausting. But I also feel like this whole season is vindication for Carl, validation for Carl.
And then Vanderpump Rules is just...
So we've got the other problem child, which is Scheana. Me. Wants to make it all about her.
Yeah.
I get it. It's been a very Scandival-focused season so far. So she wants to hop back in the limelight. But, girl... It's funny that she is like complaining about like nothing can ever be about me. Nothing can ever be about me. Have we watched previous seasons? This girl has had not one, but two weddings. Filmed on the show. Good as gold. She had a single drop on the show.
It's true.
What else? She has had a lot of moments for herself on Vanderpump Rules.
I'm sorry, do you want this to be about you? Do you want to be
the entire like finale of last season when she was yelling at Tom? That was also very like Scheana. She brought the entire season to a close, pretty much.
Yes,
ma'am. Take a beat.
But what's happening is Scheana is a flip-flopper. She is a flip-flopper. And that urge is coming up in her. It's like when you repress something so long, it is coming up in her. And the only way she can justify that is saying, I want it to be about me. When no, you're just so close to flip-flopping. The astrology night, oh my God, some of the lines were just killing me. Like Ariana saying, I just can't, personally for me, I can't be friends with someone who kicks it with Sandoval on a Wednesday night. She said, this is what I was afraid of. I'm so sorry, ma'am. Are you just dying inside because you can't kick it with Sandoval? Like, she's putting boundaries for yourself. And Scheana, it's a simple choice. If you can't fulfill those boundaries, the choice is made. Go cry about it, and you can have your moment about your ruined friendship with Ariana too. Like,
which, I mean, I kind of have a problem with that. I don't know. I don't think I would be as prone to drop a friendship just because my other friend is telling me, like, drawing this line in the sand for me. Maybe that's just the like big-headed person that I am of like, you're not going to tell me what to do. I am still friends with this guy, or we're trying to mend a friendship. And you're not going to tell me I can't go hang out with him on a Wednesday night or have a picture taken with him, and you're not going to talk to me. She's not saying she's going to come back to Ariana and talk about Tom Sandoval until she's blue in the face and go to Tom and talk about Ariana. I think she should be able to have a friendship with two people. And I think the line has to be drawn of where Scheana is not going to be the middleman and go back and forth and talk about the other person to whoever she's with. Yeah. But for Ariana to just be like, nobody in my life can even look or think about Tom Sandoval is not realistic.
I actually do differ from you in this, because I think she is stating her boundaries of, but then, I can't.
If that's your boundary, you have to be okay if you lose friends. Because I feel like she's not.
100%. And I do think she has to work on her communication of, overall, with the Sandoval thing, she's no nuance and she's so spiteful. And like, if she was a little more, I'm not comfortable with it, like, make your choice. I understand whatever choice you make. I just need, for my own protection right now, to remove myself from mutual friends of Tom Sandoval. I think that would be received better. But she is just having on such a hard line.
Move to another state. Move somewhere else.
Yeah, then why are you on the show?
You are a part of a friend group where you have mutual friends. That is just such a crazy expectation to have, to expect that these people that were part of your core group, that were friends with both of you, to expect people to pick sides like that. You're not a divorced married couple who's been married for 40 years. Yeah. And like, I don't know. I have such different views on it, where I'm like, you don't get, maybe you can make that decision, but then you have to be willing to accept the repercussions from it all.
100%. Like, I think she needs to, everything she does, she's saying it's my boundary, but the undertone is there's a right choice and there's a wrong choice. She needs to stop doing that, because no one's receiving that well. But I just hate Lala's argument. Like, that's more so, I just think Lala is such a bad arguer, because she starts saying like, I've been through everything. Like, okay, wait, the real voice of reason in this, Katie Maloney. Katie Maloney, I love this season.
The voice of reason?
Yeah.
How?
I feel like she's very quiet, and then in the moment she's like, with Lala, she's like, why do you always have to say that you're the ultimate, you've experienced everything? And then they started doing their thing. Why, you don't like her?
No.
Oh, I love her.
No.
Why?
I think
really,
even just the scene where they went to lunch at the beginning of the episode, and she was like, everybody needs to move on from Tom Sandoval. Again, she's like the one laying out these blanket statements of like, nobody should even be thinking about this man. Just like,
I took it out. I took it as she was getting annoyed with Scheana going, because I bet you in real life it was like hours of Scheana going on about her friendship with Sandoval. Like, I think Katie feels a little pressured to be team Ariana 1 billion %, but I think she gets annoyed with like individuals like Scheana going on and on and on. That's what I
see that. I just interpret it as like she is like regurgitating whatever Ariana is saying of like, nobody even think about Tom Sandoval. I mean, yeah, the guy's an asshole, but just like,
yeah,
by you constantly saying this about him and bringing him up and like nobody talk to him, you're giving him more power in your mind.
Wait, that is something I hate. One of my pet peeves is that Ariana keeps saying my ex, my ex. I think saying my ex gives it more power than just being Tom.
Yes.
Stop saying
you're giving him so much, like, still so much real estate in your mind where if you truly wanted to cut him out of your life and move on, do that.
But it's early on, and I know I would feel so burned too. So that's what's hard. Like, I definitely would be like, I need to remove myself. Yeah, you would. Peace out.
I would have already moved to a different state.
Yeah, that's the
I would
thing.
have a different house. I would just fresh start.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect everyone around me to continue to be on the same grieving process as me. Because at the end of the day, it's Ariana's breakup. No one can feel the impact the way Ariana is feeling it. And she can't expect people to.
Correct. You don't need to mourn with me as long as I am. It's not, you have your own lives.
Yeah.
Like, you have to move on with your own lives at your pace too. It's a lot.
It's a lot. It is a lot.
But did you notice the foreshadowing at the beginning of the most recent episode where it was Katie, Lala, they were out to lunch with Kristen Kelly and they were talking about Jax.
Oh my gosh.
And saying how, I've heard he's been running around town still.
Oh my gosh.
I was like,
if that,
the valley.
That is my rabbit hole of the week, which I will, if anyone's interested, I'll get the full rundown because there's a Reddit page that has a list of events that outline a situation that Jax cheated on Brittany again in Las Vegas, which is just hilarious.
I'm not surprised. Tiger can't change its stripes.
Yeah, Tiger can't change his stripes.
It's like Jax is Jax. I did see a preview though for the Valley where it actually shows Brittany and Jax fighting, and somebody was like, "Oh, they're actually showing the argument." I might be there for this show now. If they're actually showing.
And did you see Kristen Dowdy at the very end of the trailer? She says something like, "I'd rather go on Vanderpump Rules." Like, it's worse drama, and a couple has since separated since the show wrapped.
Oh my god!
I know. We'll give it a try. We'll take it first.
Give it a try. Yeah.
And then Love is Blind, which
I just like to say that this reunion sucked.
Oh, well, I thought Vanessa and him were doing. Here's the things I thought they did well. I think Vanessa and Nick were asking better questions. I think it's very clear these people haven't gone through media training, aka Trevor, Mr. Lick lip every 5 seconds, just silence. Did you see that? He was just silent for like a minute.
He was silent. He said he had something prepared.
Then he said the words
I think the spotlight kind of got the best of him.
He said, "I just wanted to go in and experiment with other people." I'm like, oh, you were so close to saying the right thing. I just wanted to go in and see if the experiment worked. Instead, he said, "I want to experiment with other people." So close, but no cigar.
That just goes to show when you have built your entire image on a lie, it's really hard to keep up the lies and remember which lies you've told to keep that timeline correct.
He was honest. It wasn't good luck.
He was. I'd like to go back to Nick and Vanessa though. I think they are awful hosts. I think we need somebody new. They didn't ask the right questions.
They
did not ask the right questions. We don't even know if Jimmy and Chelsea are still together. I mean, we know now because we see them on TikTok together, but hello, they were the most important, like not important, but like so that was confused. The couple we were focused on, and you guys didn't even address them.
Yeah, like I thought they did well with everyone else, but
They could have done. We need Andy Cohen in there.
We do need Andy. We do need Andy.
They could have really dug into some of those people. They dropped the ball.
Yeah.
100%. I only took one page of notes, which just goes to show that unimpressed.
This is my notes. Holy comb over, Jeremy. Holy prom,
Sarah Ann.
Holy glitter. Holy stutter.
It looked like Sarah Ann went back in time to like Y2K. She put on her high school prom dress.
Yep.
She rolled on some Bath and Body Works body glitter all over her chest. Got a little fancy updo with some tight curls. And she was like, I am.
And she thought she ate. She thought, yes, we're living together. Yes. She thought she was on pageant. She thought they were going to be the new it couple. I really think she does.
She came in a little too hot.
She came in too hot. AD's commentary was like, oh, and the kiss when they just kissed.
AD looked amazing. She wins.
Oh, she wins.
That was her revenge dress.
For sure. And she wasn't having Clay's apology, and I love it.
No. Trevor was dressed like he had some extra Kohl's cash in his pocket and just kind of popped in there before he came on.
Mm-hmm. He said something like, I know some people think I came here for my career. And she said, what career? And he said, I don't know.
Yeah. Don't have one.
No follow-up. Line.
Chelsea was dressed like Liberace and
New Jersey reunion.
Toddler going into a dance competition mixed with a Jersey housewife.
Yes, I think that sums it up. But I did like what she said, where she didn't think she could handle it, and she has, from people like us. Yeah. So, I mean,
we helped make her stronger.
We did.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
I do like this origin story of her and Jessica.
I think
being Auntie Chelsea.
I think that's performative. I'm gonna be honest, Jess, I love ya, but I think you're trying so hard to be like riding for the guy you like's new girl.
I don't think she likes him any. I think she has.
I know, but I think that's where it started, and then she didn't like him, and she just wants to be like, she doesn't want to be villainized for that. He's not worth it. Because when she said Auntie Chelsea, her face was, I don't think she's feeling it.
Well, I took it as they're actually friends.
No,
because I think she's realized her and Chelsea probably talk about what a nothing burger Jimmy is, and probably have bonded over him being a dingbat.
I think that's the case, but Auntie Chelsea?
Yeah, that's a big step.
That's a bit much.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't throw Auntie around.
That's really all I got. Yeah. I wasn't really happy about them bringing up Matthew with him not there. Like, have we not learned anything from the entire show? Like, we know you went and completely altered his storyline, and now you're talking about him, and he's not even there to defend himself. That was
100%.
Like, don't go there.
And I wanted to hear what he had to say. I wanted just more on when he said, America loves an underdog. Like, what did he foresee his character arc being? Like, I would love to know that. Well, he
didn't know what the producers were doing with him prior.
No, but he was thinking about America. He probably would have
said something very different had he known that they were shaping him out to be this crazy.
I think he's a misunderstood.
100% misunderstood. I do like that him and AD went on a little.
I know. I love that for AD and Clay. Literally could not take it. That man was not okay.
Not okay.
That man was not okay. And all that therapy work really just.
He's really testing it.
Really testing it. Vanessa's like, you need a lap? He's like, oh my God. He was short circuiting. And AD was like looking over her shoulder as she should. It's scared that he's going to come for her because he gives that energy. Oh my God. Okay. Last little thing. Just Brittany and Kenneth's relationship. I mean, maybe I'm a horrible human being, but they have such a special bond and talk every day, but there was no attraction. I don't know. I
think they're just like best friends now.
I don't know. I feel like
I think that's cute. But you don't think that they can be friends? I think you can totally be friends with somebody and not be sexually attracted to them and not want to date them.
No, I just find it so weird that they gave nothing when they were together, and it didn't just seem like there was much substance there, and now they have this intense relationships, it seems.
Imagine that, not having cameras around you every day filming you, and then you're actually able to learn and get to know the person. And I don't believe I know speculating about someone's sexuality isn't great, but a lot of TikToks speculate that,
maybe the passion wasn't there because someone, plays for the other team. So I think maybe that's a possibility.
Or they can truly just be better friends than
I know, but when you're talking every day and you're talking about how it is potentially going to be weird when you have a new relationship. I feel like that adds an element where it's straddling the line between platonic and like, why is that a big deal? If you're just friends, then shouldn't I felt like I was expecting their answer to be like, oh no, we're totally good with it. Like, we want to talk about it. And then it wasn't. And then I'm like, but you guys are just friends, but it still is going to be weird. I don't know. I thought it was something. I was missing a piece. That's what I felt.
I don't know, I think there can still be some gray areas. They're trying to figure things out.
I know. There was so lack of chemistry when they were together towards the end. But so I feel like it's either they're just friends or I don't know what the or is. I was shocked. I was expecting it to be they never talked again and were content with their lives based on the lack of affection between them. I
think they maybe realize that they have. Yeah. I think they were very compatible on some levels, and I think it truly came down to they were not sexually attracted to each other.
Yeah.
And so you take that out of it, and you can still have a friendship.
Okay. But very intense friendship. They said it's a relationship they'll never have again.
Yeah. Maybe they're like twin flames. Who knows?
They don't give twin flame energy, but maybe. What do I know? Okay, moving on from reality TV. I don't know if this came on your TikTok page. Do you know anything about Outdoor Voices?
I mean, I know the brand.
They, on the 16th, a message went out on Slack and said, hey guys, we're doing a pivot. We're shutting down all retail stores on Sunday and we're going fully e-com. So at first I was like, holy crap. But it is only 16 brick and mortar stores, but all those people don't have jobs as of Sunday, and they weren't offering severance. Like, all those people are out of jobs. And just for the message to be on Slack, I think like a lot of people are weighing in like it lacks so much empathy. I mean, at the same time, how is there a good way to make that announcement? Yeah. But then I have been trying to understand, how has this happened? Because in my mind, Outdoor Voices was on track to be the next Lululemon, like very much in the same line as Aloe, like Patagonia, with a little more earthy feel. And so there's this girl on TikTok, her name's Dolma, I am Dolma, and she was explaining like the 3 mistakes that Outdoor Voices made. And it's very similar to the mistake Glossier made, which these companies, it's so young, started in 2014. It raised so much capital so fast, and they didn't necessarily learn to have discipline with that capital. And so they got brought on the CEO of J. Crew. Like, they went so big so fast. And it was also when Instagram and Facebook ads were so cheap. So they put all of their eggs in one basket, Facebook ads and Instagram ads, and overspent pretty much. And they couldn't keep up their evaluation. So now their brand is suffering so much. And the person, Dolma, was talking about how it's so important, especially now, for brands to put as much emphasis on organic marketing and, I don't want to say word of mouth, but just their reputation, building that slowly and surely rather than paid ads, because we're starting to see through that. And I just thought it was crazy. Like, I feel like Outdoor Voices was on track to be huge. Did you not?
No.
Really? Like,
I mean, I remember when you said the company started in 2014.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And I remember hearing a lot about them and seeing people wearing them, especially when I was teaching at Pure Barre. Like, it was a very popular brand. I only knew it as an e-com thing as well. So to hear that there were only 16 brick and mortar stores is also not surprising, because it didn't seem like they were trying to truly be the next Lululemon. Like, if you were, wouldn't you have tried to open up more stores? And maybe it's because they couldn't afford it. But if they have all this capital, they should have been able to.
Well, they couldn't keep up with that evaluation. Like, they were so young. Honestly, they shouldn't have even had 16 stores at this point. Like, they should have slowly built that brand loyalty. And then it reminded me, as this girl was giving her like critique.
Have you seen, I haven't seen anything from Outdoor Voices in a very long time. So that's why I'm also not surprised that they have kind of died off, because I feel like I haven't seen people wearing them or talking about them. I've seen other brands more so.
That's true. I haven't seen like Girlfriend Collective. I haven't seen them as much, but they just had such a strong presence for those first few years that I think, in my mind, and to quote Lindsay, it was smoke and mirrors. Like, they
couldn't keep it up.
To see that presence on social media be so solidified, I thought like, oh, they must be killing it. Like they must be around for the long haul. And now it's not so much. And then it reminded me of this girl that I saw who talked about, and I went to the article, it's Vogue Business released this article called Rewriting the Gen Z Playbook, and how Gen Zers, they did a poll, and this is kind of embarrassing actually. 51% of Gen Z thinks that trends start with influencers, whereas 36 of millennials believe that. And I'm thinking like through a fashion lens, like, oh my gosh, no, for all of times, it's like the big designers, like high fashion,
they
and
are
it's
the ones
trickle down.
Yes.
And
it's not the influencers discovering it.
No.
That's so insulting.
I know. They just are speeding up the process of runway to consumer. And it talked about how nowadays, in order for brands to be successful, I think the article was referring to influencers and creating like brand loyalty. And Gen Z will identify as loving a brand, even if they don't own anything from it, just because if they're relating to influencers that are showing those items. And I kind of relate to that, because it's like if you're scrolling through Pinterest and you see brands that you relate to, you're like, that's me. And
really,
even if you can't afford that, not
interesting.
Me, but I think other people do that. Like, it's, I don't know how to explain it. It's like they relate to what the influencers and Pinterest are,
but not the actual product itself.
Yes.
Not from like actual user experience.
Yeah. And I think that is so, yes, everything. I think Gen Z is very based on like identity and aesthetic and vibe. And it doesn't even matter if you own it. Like, I thought that was so accurate.
Gen Zs are like the mood boards of our time. Of like if I just copy paste all these different things that I like and put it I don't need to own any of it, but like I am going to embody this, and
that's who I am.
That's it.
And like I like it, and like Pinterest is a lot of fun, and it's a creative space for me, but it's just funny when you see it reflective in marketing. And Outdoor Voices failed to build their long-term loyal, like, company loyalty.
You brought up that article from Vogue Business, and it was literally the same time that I had just actually saw, first of all, on Instagram that they posted, the New York Times Instagram posted about an article that came out about millennials. The person who wrote the article then went on to the New York Times The Daily podcast, and they did an episode on pretty much what she had researched. And the title of the article is "It Sucks to Be 33," which automatically resonated with me because that is my age. This was a lot more like economics based, but it definitely, it resonated with me because I was like, I have lived this. I understand this. Millennials born in 1990 and 1991, which I'm 1990, are considered peak millennials. So not to brag, but you have a peak millennial. I am the millennial generation. Yes. So we are known as peak millennials because we represent the biggest part of the biggest living generation in America.
Wow. So, okay. So not only are you the face of the generation, you're just the face of society.
Exactly. Millennials overall as a generation make up 9.5 million people in America right now.
Wow.
And so she goes on to say, just kind of to explain the impact that like us as this peak millennial generation has had on the economy overall throughout the past like 20 years. And she just breaks it down into like looking at colleges, how since we were all going through the same thing at the same time, we truly impacted colleges accepting more people. And then after we all graduated, some colleges had to close because they didn't have the same acceptance rates because there weren't as many people applying to colleges. And then once we graduated from college, the labor market, which was severely decreased because we were in a recession. So we get these 4-year bachelor's degrees. We graduated from college, and then she called it baristas with a bachelor's degree because everybody who graduated, we couldn't find jobs. So you go into these kind of like entry level jobs. You're not making what you thought you were with your degree because there is no options. And then the third thing was just the housing market. So we all have kind of done things on a delayed timeline because of these things that we have had to come up against because there were so many of us trying to do the same thing at once.
Yeah.
And how now millennials or people our age who are buying houses are doing it so much later in life. Even back in 2013, the median age for people buying houses was 31. And in 2023, it increased by 4 years. So now the average age is 35 for people to buy their first home.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to see. She explained like that much of a jump from being a 4-year difference over such a short amount of time is crazy in the world of economics. I don't know a lot about economics, but she was like, that is a lot. That's a huge gap to have. And it just goes to show how we've made the demand for things. Like we've had the demand all at the same time, which then affects the supply of it not being there for all of us because we're all going through the same things at once. And she called it like the burden of being. Like we just have this burden of existing.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show, it made me think how one of the quintessential traits of being a millennial is like, oh, they complain a lot. Like they're not doing anything. They just complain. Well, we complain because
there's nothing there for you.
We have been through it all. And we had to scrape our way through recessions, through the housing market bubble, through COVID, and do it all. Yeah. And they're wondering why like millennials are so delayed in getting to these like, I guess, benchmarks in life. And it's because there's just so many of us.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so even like seeing those delays also then lead into fertility, like delays of millennials not wanting to start families until much later in life, and how families are much older now when they actually start to have their first child. And then she was explaining how this could actually have long-term effects and impacts on generations to come because we're not bringing as many people into the world right now. And so that this generation that we are creating now is going to be so much smaller and could have just like long-term effects on your retirement funds because there aren't gonna be as many people to put money into these retirement funds, and just all these like overarching things that I never thought about. And the one quote that she said that also really resonated with me was, "We are the problem, but it's not our fault."
Yeah, that's so true.
Like it's quite literally not our fault.
No.
We've been put up against all these crazy hard things and we're still just trucking along.
And I think it makes sense because if you think the status quo previous to millennials was you get out of college, you get a job, and you buy a house. And
then you have a family.
And then you have a family. And now it's not that millennials all the time didn't want that. It's that, you know, the housing market and things like that, the lack of jobs. And then I feel like by the time it gets to Gen Z, we're just like, we've seen the issues that are happening with millennials, like jobs don't exist, houses are expensive, we'll just ride it out, have fun. Like just kind of like chilling until then.
We've paved a very easy path for you to just kind of...
We're just like, yeah,
cool.
They worried about it, we won't. Like, we
They're
won't
not
get a house
doing it
till
yet,
we're 45,
so
it's fine, whatever. Like, there are so many people I know who are just like, gonna rent for a long time, and whatever,
because it just takes so much longer to build wealth because everything has just been kind of slowed down in a sense.
Can you imagine like Gen Z millennial retirement communities, Gen Z retirement communities? I feel like Gen Zs aren't going to get it together to save for retirement and have retirement
Gen
communities.
Z will never be able to retire.
No, we're going to be
there's going to be I think there'll be a small group of you that will, because it's going to be the influencers who are making the big bucks. And then so they'll be able to retire early, but everybody else trucking along till they're 80, 90 years old.
With their cargos. And I think that I've heard the term like ghost town, like there's about to be so many ghost towns because once the current generation that's in retirement, or maybe it's the generation between millennials and the one above you, there's this gap. There's going to be a gap between when the next generation is ready for retirement.
Because so the previous biggest generation was the baby boomers who were born in the 50s and 60s. And then it was our parents. And then it's millennials. So they're saying that our parents, the baby boomers, were the biggest generation. And then it kind of got smaller, and then it got bigger. And now it's smaller again. So there's this like ebb and flow, and it will have impacts on it, because we're about to see the biggest generation that we know prior
just
kind of
dissipate.
Yeah.
Not looking forward to suffering from that supply chain issue.
Well, I mean, we have paved the way, so
yeah, we'll just ride it out.
If it's any consolation, where we are in our lives now, we're through the college, we're through jobs. Most peak millennials, I feel like, have gotten the job thing figured out now. Mm-hmm. Buying houses is kind of coming on. I mean, we just bought our house a little less than 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And so we're evening things out for you, I would say.
Yeah. So you have it. You have the face of the millennial generation. You have Dumois' apprentice. And this crowd got some, key speakers through this podcast today. Valuable stuff here. We should really charge for this. Put it on Patreon. Just kidding. It's going to remain free. But everyone can tune in 2 weeks. And, of course, keep up with our social media. All Talk No Chill on Instagram, YouTube if you want to watch this video. And then TikTok. All Talk No Chill on TikTok, which, give us the follow. All right. That's that.